And I tell you this, my breakout moment in broadcasting was in Winnipeg doing the Wednesday lottery with Don Whitman. And my favorite author, you can see there's a lot of books in behind me here. My favorite author is from Steinbach, Manitoba. Her name is Miriam Taves, and she moved up. Great story about Miriam. Her father, Mel, ran a school in Steinbach, but on weekends for pin money, he would sell his eggs up in Winnipeg. He would drop off containers of eggs. So at one point, he was getting ready to marry a woman named Elvira, who would be Miriam Taves, the author's mom. And he wanted to build a house just like one he'd seen in Winnipeg dropping off eggs. So Elvira says, well, what's it like inside? He says, oh, I have no idea. I just drop the eggs on the veranda and I move on. She said, well, you got to look inside to see if it's a house worth building. He says, I can't ask to go inside. I'm an egg deliverer. She said, leave it to me. So they go up to Winnipeg from Steinbach. She knocks on the door and says, do you mind if we have a look around? My husband here, Mel, wants to build a home just like this in Steinbach, and it will be our new wedding gift. And the guy says, come on in. It was Bill Mosienko. Bill Mosienko holds the record for the fastest hat trick in NHL history. He scored 3 goals in 21 seconds. And that just proves he's a good egg. Oh, sorry, there's a pun.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Who's got the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League? The 2 finalists were, not surprisingly, Montreal and Toronto. I have no argument on that. And running away on Twitter with 79% of the vote is the Toronto Maple Leafs, the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League. I'd vote for them, and I'm surrounded by them. Montreal Canadiens fans are annoying, but they know it, and they don't care.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't even be mad at me for saying that because they know. And when you know, you know. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show. I'm reaching for my bell. We set sail today on Game Plus television, airing all across Eastern Canada on Rogers, Videotron, you name it, Eastlink cable, and in the West, too, on various cable carriers. And streaming as well. The Moose joins us. My goal today, Darren Moose Dupont, he is in Toronto, is to make you laugh many times. So do you think I can do it? Do you want to set the over-under at how many times I can make you laugh out loud? What do you think? There's one.
Yeah.
There's one. Ding, ding.
All
what
right.
Do you think?
All right.
I'm going to set it at 3.5.
Well, I was actually going to say 3.5, so I'll go along with that.
Okay, there you go, everybody. That's how many times I'm going to try to make Darren laugh out loud, and we're already at 1. Coming up in the program later on, our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family, will be with us to talk about the National Hockey League. And with all that, let's get down to business. Can you hit the quick still horn, please, guys?
How about that?
And if you notice, we got the microphone working and we're back to normal, which I promised you we would by today. I've got so many things. I got chicken scratches, Darren. This is not going to be hard filling 2 hours today on the old RP show. So we open with the big story. We do it every day. The point 1, the big story. It's the National Hockey League, okay? Because we're airing in Canada and we let 32 states in the United States peer in because for whatever reason they like us. The Winnipeg Jets extended their franchise record to 11 consecutive games last night, topping the Ottawa Senators 4-1. Cole Perfetti, Mom's Spaghetti, Mason Appleton, Kyle Connor, and Mark Scheifele netted the goals for the Jets, who sent the Sens to their 5th straight loss. Hang on, Winnipeg. We're coming back to that. Connor Garland scored his 2nd goal of the game at 4:28 of overtime to give the Vancouver Canucks a 3-2 victory over the Los Angeles Kings. And Nathan MacKinnon had 2 power play goals. Mackenzie Blackwood stopped 22 shots against his former team, and the Colorado Avalanche beat the New Jersey Devils 5-1. There were only 3 games, and Moose, were you paying attention to the picks at our Bet Regal? Have you seen the very exciting thing that's happened with our pick pool NHL game?
Yeah, well, of course. This is going to go right to the final game of the regular season. I just have a feeling that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, he was 3-0 last night, Moose was. I was 2-1. So what that's done, everybody, is pull us dead even, 67-67. It's unbelievable in picks. This is just in the new year, but we are right dead even. So those were the 3 games last night. Now there are 12 games tonight, including 2 very juicy ones here in the state of Florida. The Edmonton Oilers visit the Florida Panthers, and the Calgary Flames are at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Later on, when this show's done, when you can't get enough of this coverage, especially Florida NHL coverage, go to our Cats and Bolts podcast, which streams on YouTube and Spotify. We cover the Lightning and the Panthers with Serena and I, Florida's fastest growing podcast. But back to the Jets. I'm happy for them. We talked about this the other day. You've picked them as Canada's best bet to win the Stanley Cup. I think I'm still going to go with the Edmonton Oilers. I am, sorry, for various reasons that we could get into if anybody cares. But I'm seeing the Jets are leading the parade themselves, Darren. They put a meme out that said, Hella for the heart. Hella for heart. For the MVP of the National Hockey League. He has more personal wins than 28 teams have wins in the NHL this season. It's all fun. It's all good. It's all deadly. But are they getting ahead of themselves, or what do you think? What do you think there in Winnipeg?
I mean, I think when you start talking about those things that are going to happen at the end of the year, I think you are getting ahead of yourself a little bit. But no, he's very much in the conversation, as being the MVP of the National Hockey League. And if this continues through the end of the regular season, I think he's got to be the front runner. I mean, yeah, Nathan McKinnon's doing his thing, and there's others, but Connor Hellebuyck has been, for me, the best player in the NHL, and a big reason why Winnipeg is considered a Cup contender, maybe a Cup favorite. I don't know if I'm ready to do that with anybody yet, but definitely a Cup contender.
More than anything, we had a Jets fan write in here and say it's above 0 Celsius in Winnipeg. The Jets are on a heater. He's just enjoying life. And it's like, you know what? I like the sound of that. Enjoy the ride. Just don't be upset if Connor Hellebuyck doesn't win the Hart Trophy in June, or if the Jets aren't in the Stanley Cup final. That is what matters. But for now, they're rolling. And by the way, from the audience, John in Edmonton says, Rod, are you going to watch the Oilers tonight in Florida? Yes, I'm going. I don't miss a game. Thank you, Panthers. Scott in Vancouver writes in. He says, why are the Jets still struggling to sell out their building? Is it due to ticket prices? Yes, it is. And I think it's the smallest building in the National Hockey League, but it's a money thing. Can we please not poop on the parade? Okay? They've won 11 in a row. Let's not talk about their building not being sold out, right? Do you agree with me on that, Darren?
Yes, that's human nature. It's like things are going well. Well, let's keep looking until we find something we can poke fun at or bring a negative spin to this, and just stay out of it. And I'll tell everybody, you're sending me DMs with any negative stuff in there, I'm not reading them. I just don't. I don't even open them. And the more you send me negative stuff, the less I'll read even your good stuff, because I'll stop opening your DMs because I don't want it.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Jets attendance, not today. John Ohm has shown up. He says, Winnipeg Jets win again. Love it. Just keep it positive. Let's stay on a roll, which, by the way, is the poll question today. You're welcome to vote however you want. It is a democracy, last I heard. The poll question today for EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Contact Joe at emjmarketing.com, and you can peruse their roster at the website. I'm on it. Jim Barker's on it. Stu Grimson's on it. All the greats are on it. Darren DuPont's on it. Scott Anthony Schultz. Will the Winnipeg Jets set the NHL record for consecutive wins? It's the 92-93 Pittsburgh Penguins who set it. 17 consecutive wins. Sorry to say, I voted no. 67% of respondents voted no, the Jets won't. And I'll just say before Darren casts his vote, a lot of really good teams for the last 31, 32 years have tried to break this record, and they haven't been able to do it. The odds, I like to go with the odds. More often than not, you'll win if you go with the odds. Now, you would have got your lights punched out in the Super Bowl this year going with the odds. But in this case, I will vote no based on the odds, say that they will not set the record. That's all. How about you, Darren?
I'm going to vote no, and you can see me reaching here to the computer, but here's the schedule. What do we say? They're at 12, right? 17 would tie the record.
11.
18
They're at 11. They're at 11. Okay. They're at 11.
But 17 would tie the record. 18 would beat the record. So they play the Predators today. That's a winnable game. Then they play the Flyers, another winnable game. They play the Islanders. again, a winnable game. The Flyers again. But then right when they get close to the record, they got to play the New Jersey Devils on the road. They got to go to the Carolina Hurricanes, another really tough game. They're at home to the Rangers, who are playing better. And then they've got the Dallas Stars. So the hockey gods have lined this up where, yeah, we're going to get you right there. But if you're going to get to the record and beat the record, you're going to have to earn it against some of the best teams in the National Hockey League. So it's going to be real tough, but it should be fun to watch. I think they'll get a few more here for sure.
It's a no from Darren. It's a no from me, but don't be mad at us. It's a free country. From the podcast, Late Night with Smitty in Steinbach, Manitoba, writes in and says, the vibe is great here in Manitoba. Exciting times. Yes, exactly. Let's keep rolling with it. I'd like to see you not get ahead of yourself with this hellebuck for the heart thing, because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. Enjoy the ride. You know what? Do whatever you want. How about that? Randy from Winnipeg writes in. He says, as a big Jets fan, great season, fun to watch. They deserve all the credit, but call me at playoff time. You're like me. That's why I like Mike Florio so much, Darren, on Pro Football Talk. We're so similar. He's a little older than me, but we've been around. We got the scars in this perilous trade. And he goes, I wish I wasn't so cynical. I'm like, me too, dog. What do you do about that? I don't know what to do about that to get over stuff, you know? Just waiting for that other shoe to drop, which is kind of what Randy's saying. But you do got to get over it. By the way, folks, it may take weeks, months, or even years to get the call to be a stem cell donor. Saving lives takes commitment and dedication, just like being a hockey player. Give hope to patients in Canada. Register online at blood.ca/get swabbed and spread the word amongst your family and friends. Jared Dumba coming up from the hockey-playing Dumba family, our NHL analyst in hour 2, sent me a list of topics. But if you people would like us to discuss more, fire them our way. 902-518-3033, Progressive Insurance text line. Switch to Progressive, and you could save a bunch. Moose, I got trade rumors as my third point, and I'm not going to, we'll come back on that because every show is talking about trade rumors. And I'll be honest, with this Seth Jones bomb that was dropped by Elliot Friedman yesterday to Florida, now I've got Panthers fans DMing me going, what else are you hearing, Rod? I got better things to do. Because, as you know, 99% or more is bunk. It really is just a time waster. I know everybody loves it. But here's another one, Darren. My point 4 is just fake news. Fake news. And I want to tell you what my definition of fake news is. It's different than what Justin Dunks is from 3downnation.com, colleague of ours. I say fake news is like made-up news. He says fake news is false, misleading news. And to be honest, I think he's right. But fake news is stuff like Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford were seen skiing together yesterday in Whitefish, Montana. Please hold your applause or your response. Other than, did you see that story?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you did. You did. And I'm not sure if this is fake news or not. I got a bunch of little snackable items here. Trump Gretzky. Gene Hackman found dead at 95. That's not fake news, but it's kind of passing as news. It is big news. But this Trump Gretzky thing, it's leading the sports wire today in the Canadian press in Canada, and it kind of turns my stomach, to be honest. But it is. But this is what I have from the sports wire in Canada. U.S. President Donald Trump is defending Wayne Gretzky on social media, praising his loyalty to Canada despite criticism over their friendship. On his Truth Social platform, Trump calls Gretzky the greatest Canadian and reiterated his view that Canada should become America's 51st state. The controversy follows Gretzky's role as Team Canada's honorary captain at the Four Nations Face-Off. The way that's written is fake news, because I read that, let's call it a tweet from Donald Trump, and he basically came out and said, I'm going to have to paraphrase here because I don't have it in front of me, but he's like, my great friend Wayne Gretzky is a great man. He's a great Canadian, and he wants Canada to stay the way that it is, even though it's better for Canada to become the 51st state. Is pretty much what he said. This doesn't even reflect what Trump said, and that disgusts me. There's just so much crap and fake news. So much fake news. But behind this, I was talking with the boys last night. and maybe I chatted with Serena about it. I can't remember, but it's like Wayne Gretzky clearly went to Trump and said, bro, you got to do something. And which is actually shocking that Trump would help somebody out. You know what I mean? But basically, Gretzky, you can tell me whether I might be all wet because I don't know. But my sense is Gretzky was like, Don, listen, you got to put something out there because I'm getting hammered in my own country and I don't deserve it. I didn't do anything wrong here. And that precipitated the statement. That's my take. What's yours?
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I see the tweet or the post and, you know, coming to Wayne Gretzky's defense, and maybe it was Wayne's PR team that approached Don or Wayne himself. I don't know, but
probably Wayne.
You know, forget about what you and I think about, you know, Wayne being in the right or being in the wrong. And I think we were both, you know, kind of still supporting Wayne. Obviously, we will. But he's got a PR battle that he's fighting, and he's got an image problem right now, and nothing we can do about it. And, you know, this maybe will help, maybe it won't. I don't know. But yeah, it is interesting. And maybe like it makes sense. You know, Wayne could put a call in and be like, I need a little help here. Can you do something? We'll see if it helps.
Defer to me. I kind of sound like the Motor City Madmouth in saying this, but defer to my years in this perilous business. That's exactly what happened. I don't need to know to know. Gretzky called Trump and said, put out a statement because I don't need this. And is that you just said, is this going to work? Is it going to get people off his back? Now, we only got 2 minutes before we break, and there's going to be an avalanche of reaction here. But this is what's scary about the cancel culture mob, because it will if people went back and said, oh, wait, Gretzky doesn't want it to be the 51st state. Oh, then we're good. Oh, okay. Well, you spent the last week trying to cancel him. You know, thank God nobody toilet papered his statue in Brantford or took it down or whatever. But here's another example. In our thumbnail, we talked that Darren produced to promote today's show. Gerald Bayless died at the age of 62. A CFL great. And I want to spend more time talking about Gerald Bayless later on in the show, maybe right after this break. But this guy was the 1993 Canadian Football League Defensive Player of the Year, played with the Riders for 2 seasons, 92, 93. Incidentally, seasons that I covered the team, not as the voice of the team, but I covered them. I love Gerald Bayless. He's a stud, man. But he's not in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's in the Ryder Plaza of Honor. So while they're busy putting in people that we've never even heard of, or political appointments, or people that don't deserve to be in there, 4 years ago, the CFL tried to put him in their Hall of Fame. They couldn't get a hold of Gerald, which is another topic that we will get to later. They don't know where he is. Okay, and now he's dead. Finds out he died 2 months ago. And the news just came out yesterday. So here's the problem with the political statements, cancel culture, but in a different category of this. I guess the political correctness of these Hall of Fames and things. What if they went back and said, oh, wait a minute, Gerald Bayless was a freaking stud, dude. Like a stud. We should have put him in the Hall of Fame. Well, let's do it. Don't. He's dead. Doesn't matter now. Because you were busy fiddle farting around trying to look good and not putting in the people that were supposed to be in there. Darren, I got to go for a walk. We'll be right back. 3.5 minute walk around the building here. I'll be back in a better mood. We're live on the Game Plus television network for now. Streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is the RP Show, and Hour 1 is brought to you by Culligan Water. Drink clean, live green. Filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. Game day in Florida. Edmonton Oilers here tonight in Sunrise. Calgary Flames at Tampa Bay. Very excited to be seeing the Flames and Oilers this week here in Sunrise. Let's bring in the Moose. And, they turned the lights out at Moose's place. There you go.
Okay.
You're good. You're good. Does that count as making you laugh out loud for a second time? Because it wasn't me.
I was going to say.
Okay. People are writing in like crazy talking about Donald Trump, and just for fun, just for spits and giggles.
Oh, boy.
BW in Edmonton writes in, he says, Trump is forcing the provinces to talk trade. That's the best thing about this. Get rid of interprovincial trade barriers. That's the positive take on this. Now back to sports talk. Oh, thanks, BW. You're the only one that can comment on it. John Ohm says, I dare Trump to visit Ottawa. He doesn't have the balls. John Ohm also says, great article on Gerald Bayless. Thank you. It's up at rodpeterson.com right now. Rough Rider, great. And I got a million thoughts on that. My mind's racing here. The boys went out last night, Moose, for pizza at Tucci's Pizza. It's like a block from my house. I got great friends. They all come up near my house to go out for supper. And then we went to a meeting together. But we were all chuckling about Trump charging $5 million for a green card. He's calling it a gold card, but it's a green card. Like, I have one. And I laughed. I'm like, mine cost under $4,000. You can buy one though, Moose, for $5 million US if you want. That's Trump's thing. He says it's gonna go over great. going to go over big? And it probably will. Can't believe he's the first guy to think about it. And then my 12-step sponsor, Bob, called me this morning. He's like, what do you think about Gretzky? And what do you think about Gretzky and his relationship with Janet and their marriage? And I'm like, as you know, because I told you this earlier, I blew up. I'm like, none of our freaking business. And you taught me that, Bob. It's none of our business what goes on with them. Like, the whole world's talking about Trump, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Anyways, hey, Jeremy in Winnipeg says, hey, Rod, how was your lap? Oh, it was good, but I got myself all fired up again. And we'll get back to this. Hey, that counts. I just made you laugh. That's at least 2. It's an over-under of 3.5. How many times I can make Moose laugh out loud today on the program? And
now I got to keep a straight face.
And we're only
the time when you actually are trying.
We're only 23 minutes into it. And this is why, by the way, we've gone to only one guest per day, because it gives us, Moose and I, more time to get into stories and stuff. And listen, we're going to talk about Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Gene Hackman, Justin Tucker, MLB, NBA, NHL trade rumors, because we haven't even got to that. All of this, but I just want to spend just another second on Gerald Bayless for a second, because it's a big deal. He's from Jackson, Mississippi. He played in the USFL. You want to talk about football guys and a great resume that didn't include the NFL, but probably should have, because he was that good. But the dominoes just didn't fall the way for Gerald Bayless. Now, you were born in 87. He came to the CFL in 86. Like, do you even remember watching him play, Gerald Bayless?
Not really, no. The name
it's all
obviously jumps out to me, for sure. It's not a name I've never heard of. I know Gerald Bayless is, but no, I never watched him.
It's cool. There's no wrong. It's not your fault when you were born. But, I was working in Prince Albert at the age of 20 as the sports director there. CKBI. Today's favorites, 900 CKBI on Central Avenue. And back then, Darren, I used to get on my dinosaur and ride down Central Avenue and go to CKBI to go to work every day. And we had a thing set up where me and Tony Plata, Tony the Tiger, the PR guy for the Riders, every week I could interview a rider on the phone. Sometimes it was offensive coordinator Ray Yawk. The next week it was Gerald Bayless. Sometimes it was Dave Ridgway. They used to do that. And one time it was Gerald Bayless. And I was just spellbound by the opportunity to interview this guy. He was a stud of the Riders' defensive front. And Don Matthews was the coach. I didn't know anything about football. How would I know that I was ever going to end up being the voice of the team? But anyways, it was a big deal to me to be able to interview Gerald Bayless, number 98. Defensive Player of the Year in 1993. This article that I wrote that's at rodpeterson.com right now about Gerald Bayless and that Shad Rickey wrote in. Do you know Shad Rickey, the rock and roll trainer? You must have met Shad somewhere along the way, the rock and roll trainer.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, he said, Gerald Bayless is the first pro athlete I ever did a tape job on. Gerald Bayless's ankles, like in a Rough Rider training camp. And I was like, bro, we're old. But he's from Dysart. I'm from Milestone. And I got to say, for these Saskatchewan kids to have the opportunity to come up and work for the Rough Riders and have experiences like that is just like the ultimate God shot in our business is all. And all I'll say is I'm just upset that Gerald Bayless, I don't believe, is in the Plaza of Honor. And he didn't get into the CFL Hall of Fame before he died, but that's not necessarily the CFL's fault. Nobody could get a hold of the guy. And the fact that nobody had heard from Gerald Bayless for 30 years is probably on Gerald. You know what I'm saying? If he wanted to keep up with people, he could have. I feel like he's a guy that didn't have social media and didn't have a cell phone. That actually happens. So anyways, enough about that. Oscar, this is for everybody. Well, everything's for everybody, but we own the 55-plus age demographic on television in Canada. It's a fact, and I'm proud of it. So they'll perk up with this. Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman has been found dead at his home. He was 95. Hackman starred in the French Connection movie and Unforgiven and dozens of other films. He was known for his studied portraits of reluctant heroes and conniving villains and won 2 Academy Awards. What's your favorite Gene Hackman movie, everybody? He was in The Replacements, Hoosiers. Yeah. Okay, so my second favorite movie that he was in, Gene Hackman, was Murder at 1600. it was kind of creepy. If you remember, you watched that, didn't you, with Wesley Snipes and Gene Hackman had the false closet, the two-way mirror. Just watch it. It was a very good movie. Number one was Heartbreakers, which was actually filmed here in Boca and West Palm Beach, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt. That's my number one Gene Hackman movie. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I'm guessing yours is The Replacements, but
it is, and Hoosiers too. Like those are the two that I jump out at. Hoosiers and The Replacements, so good. But Gene Hackman was good in everything that he touched, and and then I've seen Gene Hackman in interviews and in talks that he's given and things like that. Just seemed like he was the same guy on the screen as off. Obviously, very genuine, somebody very thoughtful. Obviously loved what he did and brought it to the screen. Gene Hackman, he's one of the best.
Jeremy in Winnipeg says, The Replacements for me. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, French Connection. But my first time I saw him was as Lex Luthor in Superman. I do want to read this comment from John Ohm. Boom, on behalf of the Rider fans, because Sask is still our number one region for viewership. Here's a quote from Don Matthew, Hall of Fame coach who died in 2017. Gerald Bayless makes me a much smarter coach. The Don, whenever he was asked about one of the CFL's most dominant nose tackles in league history, Gerald Bayless, died before we could put him in the Hall of Fame. What does that say? Terry in Calgary writes in, Terry the lawyer. He says, Bonnie and Clyde, right? He was in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Gene Hackman, dead at the age of 95. Everybody, tell us what your favorite Gene Hackman movie is. Mine, again, Heartbreakers, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt. Did I mention that? No comment from you needed on this, Moose. Baltimore Ravens. I'm squishing all of these topics into point 4 called fake news, and this one ain't fake news. Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker has released a new statement maintaining that he did not act inappropriately while receiving professional bodywork treatment. He also offered an apology. Tucker says it devastates him to know that anyone he's worked with would not have felt respected and valued as a professional. He says he's sorry to anyone who has felt otherwise. The Baltimore Banner has reported that 16 massage therapists from 8 spas and wellness centers in the Baltimore area have accused Tucker of inappropriate sexual behavior. So he's issued a statement and saying sorry if anybody took his behavior the wrong way. As my lawyer, the great William Howe, my personal attorney, who lives in Sun Lakes, Arizona, he says, Rod, a lot of times an apology will make it go away. That was Bill's advice to me. So we'll see if it works for Justin Tucker, because he's apologized. What an ugly, ugly, ugly situation. We've got a lot of time left to get to Major League Baseball, which we will, NBA. Jays are playing in Sarasota today against the Orioles. But I want to jump back to hockey because it is February. Trade rumors. I said earlier, for those that just tuned in, I got Panthers fans saying to me, what are you hearing for the Panthers, Rod? I'm like, I'm not really hearing anything. And the only reason I heard about Seth Jones to Florida was Elliot Friedman dropped it yesterday. My question to you, Darren, is this, and to anybody for that matter. If I wanted to wade into the disgusting cesspool of social media hockey coverage, where would I even start to find hockey trade rumors and gossip? I wouldn't even know where to start.
I know. Because they don't, like, Elliot doesn't do a lot of rumors and gossip, right?
No.
But I would go,
No.
I would start maybe on the 32 Thoughts show and go there. I don't know, is Hockey Buzz still a thing with, what do they call them, Eklund? I used to go to that site like a decade ago or over a decade ago every single day and refresh it. And like, because we live for these rumors. And the rumors, and this might happen, and here's what I'm hearing. And even if it's not true, you hear your team is potentially in the mix for these players, and it makes you feel good that they're trying and they're in the mix and they want to get better. And, just like, what we used to do in the video game, make up our own trades and do what we could do to make our team the best. We just want to know that our teams are in the mix for these things and trying to get better. right? We never want to hear that our team is a seller. We never want to hear that our team is standing pat. We always want to think we're moving forward, trying to do more. So I think that's why we love the rumors and talking about the possibilities. But I don't know where I would go today. I really don't.
Well, it's funny because listening to Gordy Stellick, El Gordo, this morning and Scott Laughlin on NHL radio, my radio stopped on that while I was in the gym, and they were talking about, the vaunted TSN and Sportsnet trade deadline specials over the last number of decades now. They're like, should they even be doing that anymore? With the Mikko Rantanen deal already being done and whatever big deals. Now, there will be clearly more, but they're like, how many years has it been now that everybody tunes in? People used to take the day off, and for good reason, but to what? I did. But now it's like all the trades have been done and they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs looking at each other. Like it's been like a decade of that, has it not? Like, at what point do they go, this is not that big of a deal anymore?
I know. Big deals come in a day or two before, and then you start thinking about what are they going to do. And they got a lot of pre-produced skits and video packages and extra panels because they got to fill a lot of time on those trade deadline shows.
We're asking the viewers, on this day that Gene Hackman was found dead in his home at age 95, along with his wife. I feel like there may be more to the story here. Because she was born in 61.
I did not see that.
Yeah. What's your favorite Gene Hackman movie? I said Heartbreakers. What did you say?
Replacement.
It is Replacements. Mike Wynn in Winnipeg at Icetime Sports says, Hoosiers. Devin, watching in British Columbia, says, Crimson Tide. Bomber Boy says, Lex Luthor in Superman. Mike goes on to say Mississippi Burning, another classic. The guy's, what movie wasn't Gene Hackman in, by the way?
Yeah.
John Ohm. Behind Enemy Lines.
Really good.
Quite a few. Well, I'm going to pause for the cause and be right back, everybody. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, streaming live here and podcasting wherever the best podcast.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house. Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Toronto, where the Leafs have the night to think about themselves. They're not playing. The Leafs aren't playing tonight. What does Toronto do when the Leafs don't play? Do they shut it down? What do they do?
Yeah, pretty much. They shut it down and go out on the town, man. Go out on the town. And if I
talk
can,
about the next
in
game.
the break.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. We sit and talk about the next game. Look, replacements I picked for Gene Hackman. Final thought on this. I think I might actually choose the movie Enemy of the State. You remember that one with Will Smith? But as you brought it up, I was thinking of Enemy of the State, and I'm like, wait a second, Anthony Hopkins was in that movie, not Gene Hackman. But I get that movie confused with the one called Bad Company, which was Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins, really good, where Chris Rock plays his twin brother in this little drug case. But it was Will Smith and Gene Hackman in Enemy of the State. That's one of my favorites of all time.
I think we can say the S word, the one that rhymes with sit. I think we can say that on national television. We have, right? We've said it before.
Yeah.
Listen, my favorite Gene Hackman movie is Heartbreakers, which was filmed here in Boca Raton. Watch it, by the way, if you get it. I just saw it. Never gets old. But my favorite Gene Hackman line, if I have this right, was from The Replacements when he was sitting at a private box watching his first practice of the players. And he was like, I've seen monkey shit fights at the zoo that are more organized than this. We used that line for years after that. We used that line for years after that. For any kind of a gong show that we were witnessing in sports. Regarding trade rumors, Jeremy in Winnipeg says the Panthers should go after Erik Karlsson. The Penguins will eat cap and are desperate. The Blackhawks don't really have to trade Seth Jones. No, but they might want to after he ripped the hell out of his own team the other night after the Utah game. Serena goes deep into that on the Cats and Bolts podcast. You can watch it after this one on YouTube and Spotify. George Babures is watching in South Florida. He writes in and he says, great show and chat. Rest in peace, Gene. Thank you, George. What I find really interesting is the amount of Florida people that are now tuned into this show, and they're seeing all our photos and like my past life. For instance, me and Jared Dumba, in front of the backdrop about to broadcast a hockey game. They're like, who the hell is this guy? And then you're still calling games, but it's been years since I have. People are like, who is this guy? Remember when we first were on Game Plus? And the people at Game Plus were like, who is this guy in Regina that gets Mark Trestman on the show and Mike Babcock on the show and gets all these guys on the show? You know what I mean? Who is this guy? We don't know. Ooh, Al Broderick writes in and he says, Uncommon Valor in 1983. That's a movie about war prisoners. That's a tough watch. And probably is the best Gene Hackman movie, actually, Uncommon Valor. That one hit me. 1983, I'd have been 10. BW writes in, says, hashtag squirrel moment. From the news, Oscar winner Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog were found dead in different rooms of their Santa Fe home and had apparently been dead for some time, according to investigators. So one thing that I've learned, especially being here in Florida, is that could happen very easily. Very easily. A couple things I wanted to get to in the quick 6 show topics as we roll on. Point 5, the Toronto Blue Jays are in Sarasota, Florida today to face the Baltimore Orioles in Grapefruit League play. Lefty Easton Lucas is expected to start for Toronto. Jays dropped their first preseason game Wednesday, 9-6 to the Phillies in Dunedin. Meanwhile, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts says 3-time MVP Shohei Ohtani will make his first spring training appearance Friday night, facing his old team, the Los Angeles Angels. Ohtani will be the designated hitter. I'll bring this up again. I told you I was talking to my 12-step sponsor, Bob, this morning. He's like, Rod, are you into the spring training? And I'm like, I kind of am. And I feel like this is shades of that 20-year black hole for the Blue Jays from about 95 to 2015, where we were into it until the Blue Jays were out of it by June 1st. You know, that's I'm into it for now. I don't know how long I'll be into it, but that's where I'm at. And you said you're getting into it.
Yep, I'm in and I'm following. So I'm into it the same way. Like, I'm getting excited for opening day and all the rest. And yeah, we're making plans for the ball season. It's a fun one. But we'll see how long the Jays are in
season
it.
Ticket holder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So we're excited, and we're in it as long as the Jays are in it, you know, and then you start to lose interest if they go into the toilet. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Do you guys have your seasons this year again?
We do. Yeah, they're quarter seasons. We can't. The full season is too much for me.
Just tell them.
Way too much.
Just tell them. Tell everybody you got season tickets. Which reminds me, by the way, okay, a quick point 6. The Toronto Raptors are off tonight after a 111-91 loss Wednesday against the Indiana Pacers. It was the first of a 4-game road trip for the Raps, who will next visit the Chicago Bulls. Toronto was without all-star Scotty Barnes because of a left hip contusion. Emmanuel quickly led the way with 18 points in the loss. Speaking of the let's don't and say we did, Fake Gainer wrote this morning. Oh, where the heck is it? Fake Gainer wrote this morning, and it was a question for both me and the sports doctor. I'll put it to you. He goes, I got a ticket for the Capitals at Jets March 25th. If Ovi has a chance to make the record that night, and someone offers $2,000 for the ticket, do I sell? He goes, everyone has a price. I said, sell it. Tell people you're there. You were there. That's what everybody does these days, right? Say you were there. Sell it, man. I say take the money. But how about you?
If you're going to get that much for it, I'm probably taking the money too. But it is a hockey history day. But there's also no guarantee he's going to break it. So you don't take the $2,000. You go to the game and he's held off the score sheet. Like, it's a risk. I'm taking the money.
As they say, just business. It's just business. Take the money and say you were there. These days, nobody will check. Nobody will care. It's the way it is now. It's all ball bearings nowadays. Okay, Moose, I'll see you in hour 2, and we'll be playing Bet Regal breakaway bets, right? In hour 2.
All right. Yep. Can't wait.
We'll be back in a moment with a mini overtime. We're live on the Game Plus television network. The Progressive Insurance text line's open. 902-518-3033. Switch to Progressive, and you could save a bunch. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We are calling it mini overtime. Just a little less time than what we have. Hey, so I'll read a couple messages here on the Progressive Insurance text line. Gary in Winnipeg writes in, the old fart. He says, hello, Rod and Moose. I am confident that the Winnipeg Jets can lock down first place and get the President's Cup, providing the team can avoid major injuries. Their boat was sunk last year in the first round due to injuries to Scheifele and Morrissey. This year, the Jets will take no prisoners en route to the Stanley Cup. Just be careful what you ask for. You mentioned the President's Trophy. Last year's President's Trophy winner, New York Rangers, didn't win the Stanley Cup. Year before that, Boston didn't win the Stanley Cup. Year before that, Florida didn't win the Stanley Cup. Year before that, Colorado didn't win the Stanley Cup. Need I go on? Boston didn't win the Stanley Cup. Tampa didn't win. The last President's Trophy winner to win the Stanley Cup were the Chicago Blackhawks in 2013. So literally be careful what you wish for. Gene Hackman found dead along with his wife and their dog at their Santa Fe home today. I'm asking, what is your favorite Gene Hackman movie? Brad Cameron's watching in Saskatoon. He says, favorite Gene Hackman movie? Behind Enemy Lines. Allie in Sherwood Park, not Texarkana. Allie in Sherwood Park, Alberta writes in. She says, hey, RP, Darren, and everyone. It's a tie for favorite Gene Hackman movies. Hoosiers and The Replacements. Hoping for the Oilers to get the W tonight. Have a great day. Enjoy the game. Yeah, I'm very grateful to be going to the game tonight at Amerint Bank Arena. Sports update for Heavy Jim. From the NFL Combine, pass rusher Abdul Carter says he should be the number 1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft. Can you imagine a hockey player saying? Carter made his comments Wednesday at the NFL's annual scouting combine in Indy. The first day prospects spoke with reporters. The former Penn State star is likely to be a first or second defensive player selected in April's draft, but he's got competition to go with quarterbacks Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders and Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. By the way, remind me, folks, because you'll be watching on Friday, obviously, when Jim Barker's here. I need the answer to this. How should you conduct yourself in a prospect interview at the Combine? I don't think it's any different than a job interview. I was listening to Chris Sims the other day on Pro Football Talk. I listened to him every morning with Mike Florio, and he said he wished he was a little more forceful in his interviews. He thought he would have been drafted higher, Chris Sims, because he was, yes, sir, no, sir, very polite and respectful. And he goes, I wish I wasn't that way. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't you want to be that way? And maybe he's right. What do you all think about that that's watching right now? Write in on the streaming, please. When I hire people, it's hiring writers for my website. And I only bring on guys and gals, which I have in the past, that have a resume. That's all I do. I only hire proven people, proven writers. I don't know about the youngsters. I don't know. The Miami Dolphins are the top-ranked team, followed by the Minnesota Vikings for the second consecutive season in the NFL Players Association report card. The Atlanta Falcons, Las Vegas Raiders, and LA Chargers round out the top 5 in the 3rd annual NFLPA report card released at the NFL Scouting Combine. This is where the players are polled on a variety of topics about their teams in the NFL. The Steelers, Jets, Browns, Patriots, and Cardinals were in the bottom 5. J.C. Tretter, the NFLPA's chief strategy officer, said 1,695 players responded to the survey. I'll say it again. The Dolphins finished number 1. The Vikings finished number 2. I remember last year the Kansas City Chiefs finished dead last in the NFL, especially in the areas of facilities, the way families are treated, you name it. And yet they won the Super Bowl. That one blew my mind. But they're not even in the bottom 5, so they obviously made some changes, the Chiefs. The Clark Hunt, the owner, obviously took that to heart. Sports update is for Heavy Jim. It's not just about lifting weights. It's about lifting your spirit, lifting your strength, and your potential. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. Moose returns at the top of hour 2. Then our NHL analyst, Jared Dumba. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Who's got the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League? The two finalists were, not surprisingly, Montreal and Toronto. I have no argument on that. And running away on Twitter with 79% of the vote is the Toronto Maple Leafs, the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League. I'd vote for them, and I'm surrounded by them. Montreal Canadiens fans are annoying, but they know it, and they don't care.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, it's hour 2, and welcome inside, everybody. Canada's daytime sports talk show on Game Plus television, but we also air in 32 U.S. states, including the great state of Florida. Our co-host is Darren Moose DuPont, and he joins us from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And we've got some exciting things to get to here in hour 2. Just say this, Moose. You know, we got that regular viewer, Allie from Texarkana, and Darcy writes in Grand Prairie with a musical note emoji and says, Allie down in Texarkana wanted me to push her broom. No, it's Rosanna down in Texarkana. You can't get me on the George Strait lyrics. Moose, you and I were just talking about that this morning before the show. George Strait song.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You were singing George Strait and we were quoting words. That was good. George is the man.
Rosanna down in Tech. I've been in his fan club since I was 12 years old. George Strait. And he says, look at the Blue Jays. You're looking good in Blue Jays colors. And he says, winning the President's Trophy is a curse. We got everybody part of the discussion here right now. I read a text from Gary in Winnipeg last hour, near the end of hour 1, where he said the Jets are going to roll to the President's Trophy. And I'm like, do you really want that? Because I went and looked it up on the big board, Moose. I went to the big board. The last team to win the President's Trophy and also win the Stanley Cup was the 2013 Chicago Blackhawks. That's over a decade. And Vince in Manitoba writes in, he goes, all those misses means the odds are in our favor. I would say the odds are exactly not in your favor. I don't know what you would call that. I mean, if you walk up to that slot machine and you drop your nickel in and it hasn't, maybe it does mean the odds are in your favor, right? Do you know what I'm saying? The longer it goes without hitting, the better your chances. Is that what he's saying? I don't know. I'm not a gambler.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying because, you know,
okay.
Logic would say it's going to hit eventually. So every, but that's the old sales saying, right? Every no is one step closer to a yes. Every lost spin is one step closer to the jackpot. Is it? Or are you just telling yourself
Okay,
that?
Vince, we talked ourselves around into agreeing with you. I get what you're saying. It's weird, man. You're on the same mental plane as me. That should scare you. Sharon writes in. She says, there's always a first time. I'm not sure what she's referring to, but I agree with that saying. There's always a first time. The first time for everything. Robert in Las Vegas. Rob Campbell in Las Vegas watching. He tunes in. He says, Connor Hellebuck has more wins than 28 different teams. Well, while we're at it, and clearly they weren't watching an hour ago when this ship set sail, we talked about this right off the top of the show, and that's our poll question today. For EMJ Marketing, they will provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Look them up on social media or visit their website, emjmarketing.com, and then look up Joe there. Will the Winnipeg Jets set the NHL record for consecutive wins? It's held by the 1992-93 Pittsburgh Penguins, who won 17 in a row. The Jets are at 11 following last night, and I voted no, again, based on I'm sure the odds here are that it won't happen. Darren went and looked up their schedule. It's tough. Every game in the NHL is tough. Look at Seattle came in here on Saturday and made the Panthers look bad. You need to work hard every night in the NHL to win, even against the Rudy Poos. The odds will tell you that no, they will not set the record. You and I both voted no. I'm assuming you're staying on no, unless you've changed your mind.
No, I'm going to stay on no after looking at the schedule and some of the tough games that lie ahead.
Perry Shockey is watching on the Game Plus television network right now. Perry S. Hockey. Shockey's the name, hockey's the game. In Lethbridge, Alberta, and he says, it would be nice to have you and Serena on camera at tonight's game. Opposite ends of the press box, more likely. Listen, we don't sit together. I don't want to get into it. You probably understand, Shocks. But we don't sit together in the press box at the games. I sit where I'm assigned. Let's put it that way. She does not. But it's the Edmonton Oilers at the Florida Panthers tonight, and it's funny because Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He says, both Alberta teams in Florida tonight. I see a fight. It's a great night for Florida NHL hockey, I'll tell you that. Any night that both teams are playing, the Lightning and Panthers are great, but they're both playing at home, even better. We've got a theme going through the program if you joined us late, and that is Gene Hackman, found dead in his home with his wife. He at age 95, her at an age far lower than that, and good for him. And their dog was found dead too. No judgment here, whatever. I'm sure the details will come out as to how this happened. And I'm praying for the best. Santa Fe, New Mexico is where they were. We're asking what's your favorite Gene Hackman movie, and everybody's had a swing at that. Moose said The Replacements, and it's very high for me, the Replacements on the list, but number one is Heartbreakers, more so because of Jennifer Love Hewitt than Gene Hackman, but still. 2, Murder at 1600 is number 2. What movie wasn't he in? Bill writes in from Toronto, and he says, my favorite 3 Gene Hackman movies. 1, anything he did. 2, Bonnie and Clyde. 3, Poseidon Adventure. I don't even know that one. Robin Vegas says, Gene Hackman had a great role in the 1974 Young Frankenstein. I didn't know that.
Did he reference, was he talking about the movie Poseidon?
Oh, Poseidon, I guess. I've never even heard of it.
I didn't know if he was in that, but anyways.
Okay. People are getting goofy in the comment feed, which normally I'm here for. People are just getting goofier and goofier. One other thing that we talked about last hour, while we're at it, you guys want to hit the Quick Six show horn? You want to hit the Quick Six show horn, please? There we go. Take us 7 minutes into hour 2 to do that. We've been talking about the big story, NHL games last night, the Winnipeg Jets, the poll question, which we got to, are they going to set the record for consecutive wins? Trade rumors. We haven't really got around to that, but we will next segment because Jared Dumba will join us from the hockey-playing Dumba family. I lumped in a bunch of things under the term fake news, and they're not really fake news, but they're just a bunch of odds and ends. The Trump-Gretzky thing. Donald Trump has come out to defend Wayne, and I feel that Gretzky said to him, Donald, put out a statement because I am burning at the stake in my country, and I don't deserve it. So Trump came out to defend Wayne, and Wayne's take that Canada needs to stay the way that it is and should stay the way that it is. Although Trump had to get his dig in there and say that, well, he's wrong. The best thing for Canada is to be part of the USA, but Gretzky wants it to stay the way that it is. We talked about that. I'm not going to go any further. Gerald Bayless passing away at age 62. It's like a Gene Hackman story in a way. He passed away in December. People just found out now. And it came to the news yesterday. He would have been in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, but 4 years ago, the CFL tried to get a hold of him, and nobody had his number. So it's a story that we talked about last hour. I covered the Riders when he was playing for him. He was a stud, a beast, Gerald Bayless. Condolences to his family and all those affected. It's a weird story. Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford. To be honest, this bothers me. That we're going to have to go around and around and around the mulberry bush on this, Darren. So Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady were seen skiing together in Montana. He is now an owner of the Vegas Raiders, and Stafford's been given permission by the Rams to look for a new team, which is weird, but that's the way they framed it, right? They're like, if you can find a team that wants you, we'll work out a deal. Go find it. So he's skiing with Brady. The question, of course, is this tampering or not? And there's so many stories that I just don't want to waste energy on. But that's one. It's like, what did you guys think was going to happen when you allowed Brady into the ownership circle in the NFL? What did you think was going? Did they not think this was going to happen? I feel like they didn't know.
No, and it's not tampering anyways because he has permission to go and seek a new trade. But I've seen them both come back and say, hey, look, it was just coincidence that they happened to be there. It wasn't set up. It wasn't planned. And you can believe
you
that.
Haven't used that one before, Darren?
Yeah, exactly.
I've used that one.
You know?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, coincidence. She just happened to be there. No, I'm just kidding. But the idea around this is, let Stafford go and look for a new deal. And I've been watching a lot of coverage, listening to a lot of people who are really close to the situation. And here's what's interesting for the regular fans is the Rams want to keep Matthew Stafford. They want Matthew Stafford. They want him to be a Ram. I think Matthew Stafford likes LA and wants to be a Ram. But I think it's money. It always is. Matthew Stafford wants to get paid a big payday, but he's getting a little bit older. He wants to secure the bag. And he's probably earned it. I mean, they gave the Philadelphia Eagles, the Rams did, the biggest challenge in the entire playoffs. They had the football with a chance to score and win the game at the end of that football game. The Chiefs weren't close. Nope, Green Bay. Nobody else was close to beating Philadelphia except the Los Angeles Rams. So they're pretty close. And so Matthew Stafford wants to get paid. But they say, hey, you're free to go look for a new deal. And if any of those other teams want to pay you, then come back and tell us how much, and maybe we'll think about matching it. But we don't think anybody's going to pay you what you're asking. And then you'll come back here and take what we're offering you. I think that's what the Rams are hoping. But then Tom Brady swoops in.
I heard this.
He could charm anybody.
Yeah. Of course. Well, I heard this big talk yesterday on Sports Talk Radio here, driving around. And the guys were talking about how much money do you need, like Matthew Stafford. The figure is somewhere around $360 million he's made in his career, if that's right. He's already won a Super Bowl. The one misnomer that people do not understand, media, fans, players, and coaches do, is that once you win, you want to win more. Okay, it's not like Matthew Stafford's like, I made my money, I've won my Super Bowl, so I'm good now. They don't look at it that way. Sidney Crosby, he's taken less money. He is. But he still wants to win. Don't think he's okay with what's going on in Pittsburgh right now. That's what the people don't understand. Matthew Stafford still wants to win. And he also wants to be paid more. Duh, who wouldn't? So that's an interesting story to follow there. I guess now would be a good time to go through our NHL breakaway bets because it's a busy night today in the NHL. Moose pulled even with me in the pick pool last night, 67-67. Both, that's our win totals here in the new year of NHL games straight up. So let's go tonight. Islanders at Boston. Who you liking?
Give me the Islanders tonight.
Me too. Because Patrick Waugh was out coaching up Sorokin at practice yesterday. Apparently he doesn't do that. Should, but he hasn't been. San Jose at Montreal. Ole, ole, ole. Les habitants pour moi. Et vous?
Sharks for me.
Yeah, that's not and you. Okay, gotcha. Columbus at Detroit. I got the Wings.
Ooh.
Choo choo. Wait a minute. I thought Todd McClellan couldn't coach. No. Detroit for me. You?
I'll take Columbus.
Okay. Come on, laugh out loud, Moose. That would make we're falling behind here. Calgary,
there you
Tampa
go.
Bay.
You got it. You got it.
3-3-3. Calgary at Tampa Bay. Who do you like?
I like Calgary.
I'll take the Bolts. They're rolling, baby. The Edmonton Oilers at the Florida Panthers. Who you liking in that one?
Oh, boy. I like the Panthers, and this will probably be the game Edmonton wins.
You're going to take the Panthers? Then I'll take the Oilers. Yeah, I don't mind taking the Oilers in this one. There's a lot of heat on the Oilers, if you haven't noticed. Not as much heat on the Panthers. St. Louis at Washington. I'll go first. Caps for me, baby.
Yeah, ×2.
The Buffalo Sabres at the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
You got the Canes. The Sabres have won, is it 5 in a row? I'll take the Sabres.
They're playing well.
And actually mean it. Philadelphia at Pittsburgh. The Battle of Pennsylvania. Flyers for me.
Yeah, they smoked Pittsburgh a couple days ago. I'll take the Flyers as well.
The Winnipeg Jets at the Nashville Predators. Jets for me.
×2.
The Minnesota Wild at the Utah somethings.
Mini.
You going to take Mini?
Yeah.
I will as well. Chicago at Vegas. This doesn't need to be close. It's Golden Knights for me, bro. You?
Yeah, me too.
And Vancouver at Anaheim. Ducks for me.
Okay, I'll take the Canucks.
Okay, when's Anaheim going to be better and not so crappy? Jeremy writes in and says, the Todd Father, #LGRW. Let's go, Red Wings. Yeah, I thought Todd McClellan was a crappy coach. That was the book. Be interesting to see how far this goes. We're done. Moose, the under won it. The under got it. You have a great afternoon.
No last minute jokes? Okay.
No, I don't have any.
Enjoy.
Okay, just your chest hair.
Boom.
Oh, you didn't laugh.
How about that?
That's pretty good. I held on. It's okay. The over takes it in the final minute.
I like it.
Yeah.
Jared, have a good one. Man, Jared Dumba joins us next from the hockey-playing Dumba family to talk NHL hockey. Get your questions and comments in. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts.
Live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to World Championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show brought to you in part by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, The Monkey. When twin brothers Bill and Hal find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, a series of gruesome deaths start. The siblings decide to throw the toy away and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years. But not so fast. Starring Tatiana Maslany and Theo James, The Monkey in Landmark Cinemas now. As promised, Jared Allen Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family joins us to talk NHL hockey here. Jared, and we're going to jump right into it because these chats always go so fast. If you don't mind, take a swing at this one. Winnipeg Jets won 11 in a row last night, go for 12 tonight. It's our poll question for EMJ Marketing. Will they set the NHL record for consecutive wins on this heater? Yes or no? What do you think?
No. I'm going to say no. That's awful hard to do. There's a lot of games left here, especially those last few games when everybody knows that that you're going for that record. It's so easy for the other team to get up. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm proved completely wrong. Winnipeg just doesn't seem to lose this year. You look at three of the top winning streaks of the year across the league. 3 of the top 4 are the Winnipeg Jets. So they just don't seem to lose. When they do lose, they jump right back into the winning column.
The President's Trophy curse is real, and I don't want to single the guy out from Winnipeg who wrote in earlier about how the Jets are going to win the President's Trophy. I'm like, well, you don't want it. And listen, stick with me on this, Jared. You follow it closely. Last year, not at this time, but soon, Paul Maurice was taking his foot off the gas and holding guys out and playing the backup, getting ready for the playoffs. It cost him the President's Trophy, and people were losing their minds here. But the point is, I literally don't think you want it. Yeah, you want to be playing your best, but how should the Jets approach this the rest of the way?
I think you gotta start sitting guys out a little bit when you can here and there. You got to be strategic about it. I know all the guys want to play all the time, but I think that's the best way to go about it. You don't. I know it's nice to win that President's Trophy, but you look at the amount of teams that have won the Stanley Cup after winning the President's Trophy. It's not very long. So I think I agree with you there. You wanna continue to play hard and give guys time to rest their injuries, rest whatever they need, even if they don't have an injury. Take a couple nights off here and there, and be ready for the playoffs, because that's what everybody wants, especially Winnipeg Jets, especially after the last playoffs. We all know what happened there. I think Hellebuck's going to turn it around and have a big playoffs, but you want to be going in firing on all cylinders into the playoffs.
If I was in the Winnipeg media, I would be instituting a fine for any viewer, fan that brings up even the P word, President's Trophy. Don't even bring it up. Stanley Cup, different. Yeah, let's talk about that. President's Trophy, no. John in Edmonton writes in, as you know, it's a very big night here in Florida. We got the Oilers here at the Panthers, and the Flames are at the Lightning, just up the road. John in Edmonton says, Jared, what's wrong with the Oilers? Do they need a new goalie or what?
Well, my straight answer to that is no. You know what? Everybody, when you look at the players that they got, it's so hard to add a solid goaltender. I mean, if you could get a Bennington in there along with Skinner, I mean, fantastic. But that costs a lot of money. You're going to have to get rid of something to do that. I think the Oilers are happy with their goaltending, even though Skinner does this every year. There's 2 or 3 times every year where he goes through a patch where he's not so great. Everybody says you need new goaltending. You got to trade him. And then what happens? He shoots the lights out after that. He stops everything. He gets right back. You look at last year, not bad for a young goaltender to take his team to Game 7 and only let in 2 goals in the final game. If he had a little bit of run support, he'd have a cup right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation. Would they like a better backup? Sure. Is that situation going to rear its head? I mean, we'll see. I think their main focus before goaltending is going to be to try and add to their defensive depth.
Jeremy writes in. He's a Detroit fan. He says, Jared, have the Red Wings changed your mind? Playoffs? I distinctly remember the last time you were on, you said the chemistry's off there. Something's not right. And they fired the coach. And now they're the hottest team since. So where are you on the winged wheel these days?
I would love to see the Wings make the playoffs. That's going to be such a tight race. It's going to come right down to the end. There's going to be some stuff involved. Who stays healthy? A little bit of luck, a little bit of puck luck here and there. But I definitely think that the Wings could get in, especially if they keep playing like this. And Todd McClellan, what a job he's done since getting there. He's loosened up the reins on the boys. They're playing good in their own zone, but they seem freewheeling. Power play looks good. Been great in the offensive zone, and if they keep doing what they've been doing, I think they're gonna be in the playoffs.
Randy from Winnipeg writes in and says the Blues announced yesterday they will be sellers. So I guess that actually feeds into what I wanted to get into you next with was trade talk. Now, just because the Blues are going to be sellers, does that mean Binnington's going to be available? I don't know what his contract situation is, but he won a cup with them. You saw what he did at Four Nations. I don't. In the most important position on your team, my opinion, you may or may not agree. When you got a guy, you don't trade a guy. The guy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, it depends on, how much do you want to tear down? How much of a rebuild or a retool do you want to do? I know they got some confidence in their backup goaltender. They're talking about Shen going out. I don't know. With Binnington, I mean, with a contract like that, he's going to want to go to one of the top contenders. I keep hearing the Oilers over and over. It's tough for the top contenders. Most of them are up against the cap. I mean, a team like Winnipeg could fit in his cap hit, but obviously they don't need his services. So it's going to be tough for Binnington to go anywhere. If he does, I don't even know who could fit him in under the cap. I think he's going to stay where he is. The other question with St. Louis for me is Schenn. Is Schenn going to go? It's sounding more and more like they're going to shop, or like they are shopping him around, but it's sounding more and more like a trade's going to be made. Of course, every Leaf fan in the world, everybody's going to the Leafs, every good player. So Schenn is definitely going to the Leafs. Just ask a Leafs fan. It would be interesting if they could get him, but that's the one. That's the main piece I'm keeping my eye on out of St. Louis before Binnington is Schenn.
I do see him on the TSN list, if that is to be believed, that Schenn is going to be ending up somewhere. BW in Edmonton writes in, he says, Binnington signed a 6-year deal in 2021. Okay. I told you this goes fast, Jared, so we have a lot to get here, too. But the thing is, people got to stop talking about the contracts. They got to stop talking about the money. I had a GM, an NHL GM, say to me, don't worry about the salary cap. Don't worry about it. If they want a player, they'll make it work. It's not for you to worry about, or the media or anybody else. Who would have seen the Nakes trade? Rantanen, he is on an expiring deal. But what makes sense doesn't make sense. Like when these trades, how much are you factoring contracts in? Because the hockey people tell me not to.
Yeah, you know what? For this year, I factor him in for this year. For the coming years, when the cap's going up, if they want a guy, like you just said, if they do want a guy, and he's got some term on his contract, I don't think they worry about that, because if they'll fit him in. You're going to have some room in the coming years. I don't think that's as much of a factor. But the guy you just mentioned, Roddy, how about that? How about? Was that a mistake, or was that what kind of move was that by Carolina management to bring in a guy and you're not sure if he's going to sign with you? They just did this last year with Gensel, gave up a bunch and then lost Gensel in the summer. Are they going to lose Rantanen? You would have thought that they would have had him a sure signing or an agreement to a contract before they traded for him. But now what do? Do they have to fire sale him? Does somebody else get lucky knowing that they're trying to get rid of him? Are they able to sign him? Do they wait to the summer and lose him? That's an interesting, that's a very interesting subject right now, is watching what's going to happen with Rantanen, because him and the team have not been doing very well since he got there.
Well, I'm sure there are hockey people watching this and laughing because I don't know the inside story, but just remember what happened last year. Rod Brind'Amour signed his extension with the Hurricanes, and Don Waddell walked and ended up in Columbus. So there's some sort of rub there that I don't understand. But I got to ask you this. You saw Seth Jones mouthing off in the media after Chicago lost in Utah the other night, and Elliot Friedman tied him to the Panthers here, which got everybody all horny in the Panther fan base. And let's be honest, they could use him. But what's your take on what he said, and where would be a good fit for him? Well,
you know what? With what he said, I mean, I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. That's been going on for a while now, and he's saying it close to the trade deadline. It seems a little bit selfish to me, like he's trying to push their hand to get out of Chicago, which he could have been saying this stuff earlier this year. Saying it now, it just seems a little bit selfish to me, and not like he's trying to, motivate the team or anything. We all know where they're at. As for where's he going to go, I've been watching him play very closely the last year and this year. That's going to be a tough trade. I mean, a team like Florida, that could be a really good fit. I don't think some people are saying Dallas because he's from there. I don't think Dallas is picking him up. I think anybody who does pick him up is going to have to give up a lot of future and picks, or both, because they're going to have to eat some salary. Chicago's going to have to eat some salary, and that's just going to up the ante for what they get in return. So that's that one. To me, I don't think Seth Jones is going to get traded. I think that'll be more of a summer thing, but we'll see. I think most of the deals that we're going to see this year are going to be kind of one-for-one trades, kind of, a second or third liner for a fourth or fifth D-man, guys that are just not fitting in on teams. Everybody's so close in the pack, and the guys at the top, they've already got great teams. They're not going to, I don't see a lot of superstars being traded around. So I think it's going to be more middle of the pack guys. I think we might see some more deals in the last couple of years, but
it's interesting you say that because I wondered who you think will be the buyers because, again, you got the guys at the top. As you mentioned, the Jets would make sense if they wanted to add. Panthers are leading the Atlantic Division. They might be in the market for a Seth Jones. Or are we looking at the bubble teams, the Flames, the Canucks, the Sens, the Lightning, the Wings? Who do you think will be the most active? Those trying to get in or those that are trying to win a pennant?
I think the guys that are trying to get in are going to be the most active this year. I think you might see a move out of Winnipeg, Washington, but those guys have been so good all year round. It's almost like, when you get a good recipe, you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to add in a little something else that's going to mess it up. Not to say that they wouldn't add, a winner. I could see someone like Luke Shen going to a team, a D-man that's a good team guy who's got a cup, to add a piece like that to a solid team that's got a real good chance to win. I could see something like that. But I think we're going to see more trades in those, like you said, like the Red Wings, the Senators, the guys that are trying to get in. I think that's where the movement's going to be, and that's why I think it's going to be a lot of even swaps. Maybe switch, not trading within your division, trading to another division, trying to get a third liner for a third liner, a third liner for a fourth D. Like I said, just guys that maybe aren't fitting into your team, but trying to get somebody that's going to fit into your system a little bit better.
Okay, here's the last one for you, and this has gone so fast. Ladies and gentlemen, you can look up Jared Dumba's Hockey DB at hockeydb.com. I thought you were a Notre Dame Junior A Hound. Were you not? I thought you were a Hound.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Is it not on there?
Junior A? No.
Yeah.
It's got you with the Blades and, of course, South Surrey. And then your extensive pro career. Oklahoma City, Indianapolis, Austin, Flint. And, of course, you are the original Tulsa King. Forget about Sylvester Stallone. It's on Elite Prospects. It's at Elite Prospects, Clark says, but it's not at Hockey DB. And Hockey DB is my go-to. But anyway, I saw you play with the damn Hounds. I didn't dream it. So how did you feel with the news that the Hounds are moving to Ormond? Everybody wants to know.
Well, you know what? I didn't know what to think. Obviously, with a team and a place like Notre Dame with such long storied history, you're always haven't played there. You're always rooting for them, but you just wonder. I haven't heard any stories about it. I haven't got any details from anybody yet. It's kind of fresh around here, so I'm just wondering, what the heck's going on. You feel a little bit upset, for the Hounds and for Notre Dame, especially the kids who like to go watch the games there. But at the same time, I can see, things are moving on, things are changing in the world and changing in hockey. So I can see the reasons why they might, but pretty sad, especially being an alumni. Sad to see one of your old teams go. That's for sure. But if you hear any news on that, shoot me a message. I'd like to hear the inside scoop of why, or is there something else going on underneath, or what's the news there?
Well, it's not exactly the buzz in South Florida, I'll tell you that. And since you're sitting about 20 miles from there, you tell me if you hear something, because it's pretty easy dollars and cents. Pretty easy dollars and cents as far as I'm concerned. You got Junior A budgets are into the millions now, and 5 people go to the Hounds games. It ain't that hard to figure out. Plus, the kids are paying to play there, which they've always done, but it's different. You know what I mean. Jared, this has been fun, man. Enjoy the hockey. Let's do it again soon.
Thanks a lot, brother. Have a great day.
Our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba, from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. Viewer takeover the rest of the way, plus a sports update on this busy Thursday. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are from.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Welcome back to the RP Show, everybody. And by the way, have you signed up yet for free? I hope you have, for the Rod Squad newsletter. It drops every Sunday. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. Best of all, as I say, it's free. Sign up today at rodpeterson.com. And by the way, transform your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for more information, emjmarketing.com. Boy, we got a lot of sponsors. The Progressive Insurance text line is full. 902-518-3033. Switch to Progressive and you could save a butt. Bob writes in. He says, "Hi, Rod. Bob here at our winter home in Mesa, Arizona. The NHL needs a change concerning team franchise record. Winnipeg Jets fans couldn't care less about Atlanta Thrashers records. They want Jets 1.0 records and history, former players and sweater retirements. Example, Dale Hawerchuk versus Ilya Kovalchuk as the Jets goal leader. I know, Bob, it's not a new argument. I know. And I feel like if the NHL could have sorted this out really niftily and tidily, they would have. You should sign up for the newsletter because it was in my South Florida Tribune column. Man, I do a lot of writing now that I think about it, but the Utah hockey team has completely rid itself of Arizona Coyotes history to the degree that when they announced their all quarter century team 2 weeks ago, it was all 6 current Utah players. Nobody from Arizona, nobody from Winnipeg. It's disgraceful to me. You're saying the NHL should do this. Dude, you're preaching to the choir. But for whatever reason, they can't. Like, I used to think they could sit there and go, okay, the current Winnipeg Jets can go to the Coyotes. Let's just trade. You can have the Thrashers history because it's not that great anyways. You know, and we'll take your old Jets history, the Howard Chucks, the Essenza, Dave Ellett. But they haven't done it. And probably the NHL blocked it because it's not your history. So, I mean, I was just at Nationals ballpark the other day, and it's kind of, I mean, you're like the Expos fans that were at the Cacti Park of the Palm Beaches. The Washington Nationals have completely eschewed Montreal Expos history. They were the Expos. You know that. Moved in the mid-2000s, but they've completely ignored it. Expos fans, there was a ton of them. How do I know? They were wearing their gear. I couldn't believe it. They haven't been the Expos for 20 years. So you wear what you want, cheer for what you want, but it ain't changing, and I guess it's up to the team. Gene Hackman dying at the age of 95. We're asking the viewers, what's your favorite Gene Hackman movie? Laverne and Swift Current writes in and says, favorite movie, Runaway Jury. We were in New Orleans when they were filming that movie and actually saw Gene Hackman passing at the age of 95, found at his home with his wife, deceased as well, and their dog in Santa Fe. Brother Sasko writes in on the 902 text line. He says, hey, Reverend Rod, rest in peace to Gene Hackman. Always had respect for him when he gave Canadian lefty Shane Falco a shot as a starting quarterback in the pros. Two big stigmas, and Gene gave zero regrets towards the move. Shane Falco. His girlfriend in that movie was pretty shiny, as I recall. Member of the cheerleading team. It was so much fun because, of course, I was working in the Canadian Football League at the time of that movie coming out. Remember the kicker would take a drag and then put his smoke down on the turf before he went and kicked field goals? We're like, hey, McCallum, you should do that. You should walk out onto the field with a dart and then put it down on the turf and kick a field goal. That would be so great. And for whatever reason, Paul McCallum didn't do that. Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, he's a Detroit fan. He says, I'm so glad I'm a fan of an original six team, right? You don't got to worry about the moving and the record book being so convoluted. But it is what it is. I promised a sports update. We got time for it. U.S. President Donald Trump. This will rile you all up, and we'll come back in overtime to deal with the aftermath, okay, on this heavy sports update. U.S. President Donald Trump has come to Wayne Gretzky's defense amid criticism from Canadians regarding the hockey legend's support of Trump and the United States. On his social media platform, Trump praised Gretzky as the greatest Canadian and emphasized his loyalty to Canada. Trump also stated that he doesn't want Canadians to turn against Gretzky simply because of their friendship. The quote, Wayne and Janet, his wonderful wife, love Canada, and they should only support Canada and whatever else makes the Canadian people and Governor Justin Trudeau happy, Trump wrote. He's the greatest Canadian of them all, and I am therefore making him a free agent because I don't want anyone in Canada to say anything bad about him. He supports Canada the way it is, as he should, even though it's not nearly as good as it could be as part of the greatest and most powerful country in the world, the good old USA. Trump has angered many Canadians by threatening stiff tariffs on the country's trade products and suggesting that Canada become the 51st state. The controversy follows Gretzky's role as Team Canada's honorary captain at the Four Nations face-off. He has been criticized in Canada for supporting Trump, including attending his election night party and inauguration. Asked Thursday in Montreal if he had spoken to Gretzky since the Four Nations, Trudeau smiled, chuckled, and said, I have not. Oh, fake news. Trudeau and Gretzky aren't talking. Film at 11. This is proof right here that if you ignore a story, it doesn't go away. Because so many people are trying. It's not going away. Well, maybe it will now that Trump has said what he said about Gretzky. From the Canadian Elite Basketball League, the Niagara River Lions announced today the re-signing of 7'7" Canadian forward Nathan Caillot for the 2025 season. The 27-year-old from Quebec will return to the team for his second year after an outstanding 2024 championship run. And Canada's top mixed curlers, doubles curling teams will battle for a national championship in BC for the first time ever. It was announced today by Curling Canada. The 2026 Canadian Mixed Doubles Curling Championship will be played March 21st to the 27th at the Cloverdale Curling Club in Surrey. It's the first time a Curling Canada national event has been staged in Surrey. The 6-sheet facility celebrated its 70th anniversary in 2024. Sports Update is for Heavy Gym. Heavy Gym isn't just about lifting weights. It's about lifting your spirit, your strength, and your potential. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. I feel like overtime will be spicy. We'll be back to spice it up right after this here on the Game Plus Network. One more segment to go. Streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcast.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, we're back at it for overtime, the final segment of the old program today. Overtime is brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where things are heating up in Calgary, and at Overtime Hockey Lanes there. Take the whole team down there. It's the best spot for team bonding sessions. It's RP Show endorsed. We go there every time we're in Calgary, and if you live in Calgary, lucky you. 28th Street Northeast is where you'll find them. You can check out their website at overtimehl.ca, where skill and fun collide. I call it an amusement park for hockey players, and that's accurate, too. Achieve your hockey goals at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Cowtown. Ron in Calgary writes in, I apologize that this one got by me with Gene Hackman passing away at the age of 95. We're asking, what's your favorite Gene Hackman movie? Ron in Calgary writes in from the 403, and he says, morning, Rod and Moose. Hackman was in the second Poseidon adventure. Cruise ship turns upside down and they try to escape. Worth the watch. Keep going. I don't even know how to say it. So that's the one movie that I did not see that Gene Hackman was in. Gary in Winnipeg. Last one I'll read from him. He's added a lot to the show today. He's texted a lot, but he's added a lot. He says, the 2025 Canadian Brier starts on Friday. Did you ever curl, Rod? Yes, I did in high school. And I'm trying to remember, it was the high school team. You know what? It was both. We had a high school team and we had a 4-H team. And anybody that was part of 4-H that's watching right now, head, heart, health, and hands. We had regional curling. We had regional public speaking contests. 4-H is a wonderful thing. But we never advanced out of regionals, and I just kind of got tired of it. Wasn't really my thing. But I did it enough to know how to cover it and broadcast it. And it's funny because in, I want to say 98, does anybody remember the old SGI charity spiel, cash spiel in the Agrodome? They had a media team versus, this is how much I don't really follow it. I think it was Team Jeff Stoughton. Although I feel like Randy Furby was there. Maybe he was on Stoughton's team. But either way, we had a media team versus Stoughton, Furby, and a couple other guys. They were up 8-0 after the first two ends. You would think that's almost impossible to do. The professional curlers were up 8-0 after the first two ends. And they called it. We shook hands after two. Quickest curling game in history. Warren Woods, who a lot of you will know, a lot of you won't, was losing his cotton picking mind that me and Barry Davies weren't taking this game more seriously. I'm like, come on, Woodsy. Tony from Cochrane, like we were even going to be competitive against these guys. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta writes, and he says, finally caught up after joining the show late. Two thoughts. Flames get a split in Florida, win tonight, and lose Saturday to Florida. And he says, hope Tkachuk is in the lineup Saturday so Lomberg or Klapka can tune him in. Well, they're not. Lomberg's certainly not going to do that because the two won a Stanley Cup together. And my guess is they get together, or they get along well. But yeah, Oilers here tonight at sunrise, Flames at Tampa. We did our picks of the night earlier. It was fun with Moose. I don't think there's going to be any Matthew Tkachuk anytime soon. That's the sense that I'm getting just from what Paul Maurice said the other day on the radio. It's funny. I think if you guys watch the show every day, you remember me referring to Joe Rose. He is the biggest personality in media in South Florida, played for the Dolphins. He was Marino's tight end. I've found out he was also Marino's bodyguard, basically, keeping him out of trouble. Some of us need those. Now he does the morning radio. He did do Supper News sports on the television for years, and he does color for the Dolphins. I don't know where he gets the energy. He's like in his late 60s. And by the way, that's the other thing. I don't care what you think about Trump or, for that matter, Biden, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll. How about these guys in the 70s that are getting it done? I'm tired now. I'm 52. These guys are leading programs in countries in their 70s. Bravo. Roger writes in from Winnipeg. He says, just because Gretzky was a great hockey player doesn't make him the greatest Canadian. Get a life, people. He's an American now. Roger, What do you know about citizenship? Once you're a Canadian, you're always a Canadian. Speaking from experience here, same for Wayne. But he was also traded in 1988 against his will from Edmonton to Los Angeles. Do we need to go through this again? So over a period of time, you can get your U.S. citizenship. So he's got that too. So he's a citizen of both countries. Why did I get sucked down this rabbit hole? That's on me. It's just, of all the things, I will end it with this. This popped into my head. I went to a 12-step meeting. Popped into my head to say it. I went to a 12-step meeting last night. We all are dealing with issues in our lives, right? And as they're going around the room, one guy puts up his hand to share, and he says, my daughter tried to kill herself today, threw herself off a 7-story building. Whew. And as he said, it was proof to me that this disease runs in the family. So all I'm saying is, you want to go get wound up about Donald Trump and Wayne Gretzky? Fill your boots. There's a lot of people dealing with a lot more serious stuff than that. Consider yourself lucky if those are your biggest problems. All right. Navy Don says 4-H alumni here as well. Jeremy says, have a good day, Rod. Go Wings. Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for watching the whole program. It was awesome. Thank you, BW. It's a great way to start my day. Have a great one, you people. We'll see you tomorrow for a Football Friday, noon Eastern, right here. Same place, same channel. I don't know. This is not an online therapy session whatsoever.